Okay, today we're going to look at the app Student News. So, Student News basically, if you go to the bottom, it's a really easy to navigate app. Student News is essentially a nonprofit student news organization that's geared towards high school students. It's used to help develop critical thinking and really helps students grasp current events in the world and how to navigate media sources. It has a lot of great tools, very easy to use if this isn't your cup of tea on the main page here. There's also a tab that allows you to find these same options, search specific articles, do all sorts of things. So we're kind of just going to go through each of these one at a time and kind of just look at what they offer. So the main thing is the daily news articles. These are updated every day with some sort of mainstream issue topic. So these go through various news articles that can be deemed either they're not being talked about enough or they are, and they're really geared into fitting a student voice and actively communicating with students on what specifically is going on in the world around them, how it affects them, and what they can do to either become a part of something or steer clear. With emphasis on global events as well, especially when a lot of students aren't getting access to seeing what's going on around the world. A lot of students get a U.S. centric news, and it's honestly, especially in a social studies classroom or any classroom, it's very important to keep students informed as the world becomes more globalized. The things that affect other nations affect us. What we do affects them, and it's really important to understand how everyone fits together in this world that we share. Going back to the main page, one of my favorite things about this website or this app is that it has a section called Wednesday's Media Bias. Now, this is very, very awesome because it portrays stories in various news media outlets and how bias is shown by these media outlets, politicians, organizations, etc. This good one from October 4th was one about NFL protest and how a lot of stories are centered around the main things, the anthem, all these other things, but they're not really getting into the depths of what the protests are for and how the actual responses have been. This one calls to a discussion on the NFL itself. Has this national anthem protest really or affected the ratings for the NFL? Has it really affected sponsorships, all sorts of things? And this basically debunks that there hasn't really been any of this outcry, even though there are many news outlets that say ratings are down or all this, all that, but it's usually debunked into real relative small groups. And it also leaves room for questions and discussions at the bottom of each article. And I think that's really important. Students can go down, read this article, and look at these questions that have been brought up and really mull over these things. Some have specific answers, but a lot is just left for the students to kind of figure out on their own. And I think that's very, very important in formulating opinions and ideas, especially at this day and age where we're really trying to figure out who they are. They have editorials. These are made by students. Students come in, they write these, and it's really, really impressive how this goes. This one, oh well, some are written by students, but it's just very, very interesting, and I'm like completely in love with this resource. I really want to use it in my classroom. I think it's amazing. Another thing that I think is amazing is the Friday editorial cartoon. So they bring various political cartoons from different media outlets, and they basically analyze them alongside with the students reading. I thought a good example one was this ESPN one, where they bring up questions associated with the political cartoons. They ask for the tone, what was the subject, what was the point. They go through these, show the cartoon typically,
Oh my god, I died.
and they give you answers on what was going on, what was the mood, what was the purpose of all these things. And it's so interesting because political cartoons can easily be misinterpreted by students who don't really have a grasp, or they do, or they don't have a grasp on everything associated with it, why it exists, all these other things, and what its goal is. So this is really great for teaching students how to read political cartoons, because these are often used to misguide voters, misguide citizens from understanding what's completely going on. Just an amazing, amazing web source. And even I think it's awesome, even at lower levels. I could see fourth graders, fifth graders learning, because the sooner they learn how to navigate news, especially in today's age where there's a lot of misinformation shared, the better. I think that's very, very important. Friday news quiz, how to keep up with what's going on in the world. It's a cool activity. I think that can be done at the end of the week just to show students' involvement. Various extras, just other stories thrown out there that don't really have a complete place. Most of them are human interest news. Just various little fun things. Cool, positive stories. Some possibly, I mean, like students left pineapple in an exhibition and people mistook it for art. Like just little things like this, kind of to just show, just that there's other stuff kind of going on other than main top news stories, and then provides various other resources, election news, various beliefs, media bias. These are the ones that have on here: Common Core, Student Daily News, election resources for teachers, all sorts of things for everyone in here. And I keep geeking out about it a little bit, but I just love it. And I really would encourage, even if, maybe the teachers themselves aren't the best at navigating news and everything. This is a great tool for anyone, students, family, etc. I just think it's literally awesome.